What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are here with the Steelers Sidearm Report. Yes, we are starting a little bit of a sports coverage here with the Steelers Sidearm Report. And you already know what we're going to talk about here today. January 12th here. It is a couple days after the Steelers wild card loss. So we're going to, of course, discuss our gut reactions there, where we're going to go from here as Steelers Nation, where the Steelers should go, decisions regarding a couple of their big guys, Juju and Ben, some draft thoughts as well coming up. But before we get started, I just ask you to please go ahead and drop a like on the video, subscribe for more. It really helps us out here at Sidearm Gaming, and it helps us grow and get good content, and hoping you all enjoy it. But jumping right into things, gut reactions, obviously a terrible loss. I mean, you can't, there's no other way to sugarcoat it. The Steelers went out and they played like crap on Sunday night on national television with the world watching, in a game where they should have been favored by a good margin. They just did not perform. And, whether that's on Mike Tomlin, whether that's on the players, I think it's a little bit of both. But, first play of the game, giving up 7 points is unexcusable. And that whole first quarter is unexcusable. And it was really a just dreadful night all around. The defense didn't show up. What was a top 3 defense all year was a bunch of ghosts out there on Sunday night. And speaking of ghosts, Big Ben, the ghosts of Big Ben's past must have showed up, because, he played like crap there at the start. He flipped a switch later on, like we've seen him do the past couple of games, but this team just, they were playing on borrowed time, really. And ever since 2017, the Steelers' championship window has been diminishing ever so slightly. But, regardless, we got to move on from here, and the team's got to move into a better direction. So what better than to start discussing our options now, and where we think the Steelers should go. And right off the bat, the big decisions with Ben and Juju, those are your two premier guys that you got to kind of make decisions on. You got your Mike Hiltons and your Cam Suttons, both of which those guys I think need to be brought back as well. They really played well for the defense. Joe Hayden, I think, is aging, and that cornerback spot could go to Sutton, and keep Hilton right in the slot where he belongs. But on the offensive side of things, Ben, I think they're not going to really have a choice. I think Ben wants to come back. His cap hit is $41 million. He's only due $19 out of that $41 million, though. That's a specific detail that a lot of people are overlooking here. He's already been paid the other $20 million of that $41 million, so he will already be on the books for $20 million for next season. So if you move on from him, you're only saving about $19 on the books there. And here's where I think his value is going to come in for next season. Of course, I think if he comes back, he's pretty much going to be the same Ben he was this year. Dinkin and Duncan, the Steelers are going to be all right on offense with him behind center. But he needs to mentor the next QB that will lead this team. And I think that leads right into the draft process here. In my draft thoughts, you need to get a QB of the future. And whether that is through the draft, at pick number 24, if you can get a guy like Mac Jones, who is going to come out and try to win this national championship. Filming this on Monday, of course it will post on Tuesday. But if you can get a guy like Mac Jones, you got Ben on his last season of his contract. Let Ben mentor Mac Jones. Show him the ropes his rookie season. Hopefully Mac Jones doesn't play a snap, and Ben rides it out. Or maybe Mac Jones does start to play a little bit here and there at the end of the season. I don't think that would be a bad thing either. Maybe kind of pulls a Justin Herbert and sits behind Tyrod Taylor to start the season. But I think that is key for the Steelers moving forward here, because I don't think Mason Rudolph is the answer. Josh Dobbs isn't the answer. He's a upcoming free agent as well, and who knows if the Steelers will bring him back. Devlin Hodges isn't the answer either, so I think the Steelers need to go get a guy that can be the future successor of this offense, and some other options out there. That could be a guy like Dwayne Haskins. Bring him in training camp, let him try to prove himself, and then go from there. If he makes a roster spot there coming into training camp and he gets a year to develop under a guy like Ben, he could have a really good bounce back year following that. Although he is more high risk, maybe more high reward, you never know. He was a first-round QB. He threw over 50 touchdowns at OSU in his final collegiate season, so I don't think he is a bust by any means. Well, bust, relative term, but I think he's got some future in him in the NFL. The QB is definitely a position that you need to add a guy at some point. Looking at the other positions here, Juju, I think you have to bring Juju back. He showed, the reason he was a touted wide receiver in the NFL in that game. He went off 10 catches, 150 something yards, and a touchdown. He was really doing it all there on the offense, and you got your core wide receivers: Juju, Claypool, Deontay Johnson, James Washington. The Steelers are very good at scouting and drafting wide receivers, so honestly, it's not like it'll be hard for them to replace Juju. They've been doing it every single year. They've been reloading at the wide receiver position in the draft. But I just think he's that good. He's worth it. And especially if you're going to bring in a young QB, you need to have a guy like Juju who's going to be his safety blanket over the middle, doing a lot of the dirty work for that young QB. And then you start building a repertoire there. Every young QB needs a go-to wide receiver, and I think Juju is the answer there for who should be the successor for the Steelers. But overall, I just think it's not a team you can waste. A lot of people are saying, the Steelers are going to take a step back here. It's going to be a few years before we're going to be real contenders again. But I don't think you can have that type of mentality. I think you need to go in next season, try to put yourself in the best position to compete next season, and I think Big Ben is the answer, whether we like it or not. Yes, he's going to be 38 years old next year, but he's going to be better than Mason Rudolph is, or Devlin Hodges or Josh Dobbs, and he's probably going to be better than a rookie that you're not going to get high in the draft. If you trade up and get a guy like Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, by all means, let the rookie play and develop him. But that's not the case here, and I think Big Ben's the answer for now. And this defense is too good to waste. You got playmakers all over the place. You're going to be getting Devin Bush back next year, which I think was a huge impact on this team. At the minute he went out of the lineup, the run defense really started to struggle. And Bud Dupree's not going to be brought back, but Alex Highsmith on that other side surely is gonna make massive leaps forward that he was starting to do at the end of this season. So I don't think this defense can be wasted. I think you need to put yourself in the best position to compete in 2021, and then you need to be able to lock and load and get ready to go for 2022 and have the smoothest transition possible, because the defense is going to be there. And it's all going to be kind of based on this offense, and not to mention, if you don't go quarterback in the first round, or if you do go quarterback in the first round, that second round pick, you got to get an O lineman, because this O-line is old and beat up, and they're not the elite bodies that they were 3-4 years ago. 3-4 years ago, this was a top 5 O-line in the NFL, but that's just not the case. You got a couple pieces. You got Okafor at right tackle, Kevin Dotson at left guard. You got 2 out of the 5 there. DeCastro is probably going to come back next season. Pouncey is a little bit of a question mark. Him and Ben are going to be making some decisions over the next few days. And left tackle is an open spot as well, with Villanueva hitting the free agent market. So, you got Zach Banner. I think bringing him back is going to be smart. And he may be able to compete for that left tackle spot if you decide to leave Okafor on the right side. And you got DeCastro there. We got to hope to get a couple more years out of him before we can find his replacement. But I think getting a center or just any interior lineman high in the draft is going to be a good priority here for the Steelers as well. So you get that, and then you got to get a playmaker at running back, whether that's a speed guy late in the draft. I don't think James Conner is going to be brought back. It's going to be Benny Snell, Anthony McFarland, and a rookie in the running back room. Benny Snell, he's a good pound guy. He may grind out 100 yards over 20 carries in a game, but he's not going to hit any home runs for you. And McFarland kind of looked to be that guy coming out of the draft, but the game just looks so fast for him when he's on the field. Hopefully a full offseason and some preseason games will help him, and maybe he looks a lot better and more comfortable in year 2, and he can sort of step into that role. But as of 2020, he did not look to be the guy there either. So hopefully a good running back coming out of the draft as well could be good for this team. Maybe Zamir White falls to the 3rd or 4th round, and you can snag a guy like him. But nonetheless, running back as well as a position in need. So that's kind of my thoughts as of now, and hopefully we can do the Steelers sidearm report here a bunch moving forward throughout the summer by the draft and starting into the next season. But that's my gut reactions from the wild card game. I don't think it's the end of Ben Roethlisberger's career. I think he's got one more year left in him. Whether it's good or not, we shall see. I think you got to bring back Juju. You got to address the QB spot now for the future. I think bringing back Juju is a priority as well, and then reloading the draft. This team, Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin, have been really good at doing that for many years, and they need to have a good one this year. This needs to be one of the best classes that these two have put together if the Steelers want to have a shot at contention moving forward here. So that's my thoughts there. That's my reactions. Hopefully you've made it this far and you've enjoyed my thoughts on the matter and everything. If you've enjoyed it, please go ahead and subscribe. Drop a like on the video. Comment down below your thoughts, what you think the Steelers need to do moving forward or what they might need to accomplish. And rather than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I hope the Steelers can do something good moving forward. But rather than that, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.